Welcome back to The Biggest Talk, where you break down some of the most influential bestsellers of our generation and read them so you don't have to. We're your hosts,
Ira.
Sebastian.
and Harrison.
For today's video, we are going to start off Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. How to tell your story in a noisy social world.
Yeah, so today's going to be a little bit different. The video idea that we have had been going is the book focuses a lot on how to utilize social media, but it's not a lot to talk about. So we're going to give you those juicy deets next episode.
Yes,
However,
sir.
this episode we really decided on another question to discuss, and it is, how does social media affect our lives and our society, going through the pros and cons of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of adults nowadays see us like here de-evolving, right? Because we're getting
De-evolving.
yeah, and they see like social media as this whole negative thing, makes us really antisocial, and I think to an extent that's kind of true. But I also feel like we're more social than ever in a sense too, really juxtaposed, right? Because we're talking to people all the time. It's just not in face-to-face scenarios, I guess.
So you're saying like there's a lack of physical contact, but there's a lot of internetial contact.
more distant contact.
Yeah.
I guess it's easier to get mad at somebody when you have to look at them, right? Because then
Yeah.
you see the emotions on their face, and
Yeah.
that's kind of, more humanizing.
But that's another thing that's sort of like a con about like communicating over social media is
Yeah.
that sometimes it's very hard to convey certain types of emotions, or even though a sentence may say one thing, different people may interpret it different ways.
Well, that's true about speech too, I think. And with the emojis now, it's like you can convey any emotion.
True. Just not the gun anymore. It's a water
Yeah,
gun.
dude, you better relax.
It's pretty lame. But I think I think people really underestimate the communication in itself. I mean, it's easy for us to overlook it because we were born in it.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I had a laptop in front of me when I was like 4 years old. So for me, technology, it's been expanding, and I've been looking at it, but I haven't been looking at it the same way as someone maybe
Yeah.
born 20 years ago, and seeing us jump from the 90s to 2000, and then 2000 to 5, and then 5 to 8, and then 8 to 12. Like, these years are just making so much
giant
progress,
leaps.
Yeah.
right? And people don't really realize that it wasn't that long ago to where we still had to write mail, and just physically get a postage and send it to each other and wait the 3 to 4 days. People didn't have 2-day shipping, okay?
Yeah,
Even
I
on
know.
their mail.
Now we get it all the
You
time.
get 2-day
Yeah.
shipping on your refrigerators. Those
Yeah.
big blocky things. You
Dude.
didn't even have 2-day shipping on your mail.
Not even that. If you wanted to, you can shop for groceries online and have it delivered to your house within a
I
few
know.
hours.
Right. And
It's
you
crazy.
can work online, so you can basically just live
At home.
online at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think that's honestly insane.
It's crazy when you look at it, because I remember from when I was smaller.
Yeah.
Now we have iPhones, and it's like nothing to a lot of kids nowadays. But it's like back when I was
You have
smaller,
some
I
games
remember.
on your phone.
I remember my mom and her siblings and stuff. They were happy because the thing that was like hot at the time was the Motorola Razr,
Uh-huh.
which was like a normal flip phone.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
had
just like
that bad
so.
boy.
It was so sleek and thin. That's why everyone was going crazy for it.
I had that bad boy in the
Dude.
5th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember waiting like 2 weeks for my Rubik's Cube, and now it's like everything's 2 days. It's like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those 2 weeks were like so. I was like, damn, I just want it. Because
Yeah.
now everything is just so instant. Like you didn't have to take an hour to drive there and drive back to the store. That's even an inconvenience sometimes.
Yeah.
And like just to be able to just order something and just get it the next day.
We were talking in
JDV.
our previous episodes about instant gratification and how
Yeah.
it's really
Prevalent.
a bad thing to really subscribe to.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it is prevalent. So maybe as a con, it's really, how do I say, it's really conditioned us to become very dependent on fast and instant things.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like people lack a lot of patience in their lives now because everything is so easy. It's just a touch of the button, quite literally nowadays. It's easy to spend money because you're not physically feeling the money leave your hands, right? And I feel like those are all pretty bad byproducts of the rampant use of social media.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for it.
Another thing that if you look at is that how Amazon has this. If you buy over $35 worth of items, you can even get free next day shipping or free same day shipping depending on how soon you order.
Same day.
And this really emphasizes on the instant gratification, because like a lot of people will either increase their orders to the point where it's over 35, so they can get that instant gratification and get it the next day, or they'll pay the extra shipping price, which is crazy when you actually think about it, that it's originally going to be shipped in 2 days.
Right. And
It's
then they
just
have
that
a
extra
huge
day more.
upcharge of like $8 for
Yeah.
like the next day,
Yeah.
and people can't even wait for the next day.
It's like taking a look back at yourself and you're like, why did I pay for that?
Yeah. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, if we're becoming more entitled to instant gratification, does that also mean we're procrastinating more? What do you think on that?
Procrastinating more?
Yeah.
I definitely think social media hinders our ability to work for longer periods of time. It reduces our attention span by a lot, especially just not even social media, but just a phone. Having a little computer where you could do all these things right there in your pocket at all times is kind of gonna always, remove that time you have just to work on something. Like you see in schools, right? In the beginning it was like no phones, and now it's like everyone's just kind of allowing them more and more, and computers too, just because it's a necessity now. Even though it could be a distraction, it's just you can't stop.
That's what the con is that comes with having a phone nowadays, because the smartphones are so intelligent to the point where they literally have uses for many things you can think of around the house, compared to before they weren't, so you could be doing anything around the house, but you think of something and then it's like you go to your phone to help you with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's always a double-edged sword, right? Like we said before, like online is such a useful utility for so many things, right? It's like it's an extension of ourselves. We don't know information. We literally just pull out our phone. We have it. But it also makes us procrastinate and waste a lot more time and put up this facade on social media and all these things. Like we can't communicate properly in person anymore. And it's just, how do you balance that, right?
Right. I
How do you
mean,
balance the pros and
even with
cons?
the whole double sword analogy, I think that's great. I think that perfectly wraps up what social media is, the Pandora box that it's been.
Yeah.
But in my experience with double-edged swords, you can really learn how to, figuratively wield it. Okay, to where you're not cutting yourself so much than you would be the normal person who picks it up.
Yeah.
So what are some things that people can do, or things that you might even do, to prevent yourself from spending so much time on social media?
Definitely with the new iOS update, you can restrict your social media time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I did that for a long time. I got it down to like 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day.
Yeah. That's when I
gnarly.
cut out everything, but I took it off because I liked Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, not only do you like Instagram, but because of what we're doing here and like with the podcast and stuff, it's a
It's
little
more
key
necessity, yeah.
where it's a necessity, a little more business behind it.
Yeah.
To having,
But it's also you have
availability
to
those
draw that
social
line
medias.
between an excuse,
Yep.
right, to do that, because
Right, definitely.
if I still spend more than 20 minutes recreationally, then it's the wrong move.
And I think there's a really thick line that people have to draw when it comes down to, you're keeping up with your friends and your family, you're staying in the loop, but when do you cross that line to where you're just on there, mesmerized for everything you see, and you just keep scrolling? Because before, when I had no control, when social media was just a huge thing, like I love playing games, so I would watch highlights for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Because I could search and only look at highlights. I didn't have to watch the whole game and see like, man, that guy hit an insane shot. Instead, I just watched 3 hours of insane shots.
It's
know?
not
That's
even
the gratification, just
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
That's
right,
right.
in your face.
That's right.
It's not even just that anymore, but like if on Facebook, when you watch a video, they don't even determine whether or not you like the video from you literally liking it. They look at how much of
you
the
watched,
video
yeah.
you watched, right? So if you watched a lot of a video, like say with dogs in it, next thing you know, that it's going to automatically start the next one unless you stop it, and then they're going to put more videos and more videos of dogs.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that video? I don't remember what his name is, who the YouTube content creator is, but he did this sample video on how Google listens to you.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about dog toys, and basically he's just saying, dogs, dog toys, man, I really need a new dog toy, right?
Pulls
and
out
then
his
he
phone
goes on
or his computer.
he goes on his computer, and then he's searching through. First link that he clicks, boom, dog toy ad right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really scary how people are unaware, not only what they do online, but their social media habits really influence what they're being shown, and how easy it is for people to believe like they're in control.
Yeah.
And then when they're really not.
Yeah, they're not
like,
at all.
Like in sales, you always want the person to buy something from you. You want them to feel like they're a buyer. not like you're trying to sell them.
That's
or
why it's called the
something.
lead, right?
Exactly. So they've really figured out this formula or this
Algorithm. they have.
algorithm, right, to really convince people that they know what's going on, but they really don't.
And I think like all these platforms as a whole really put you in that rabbit hole mentality where, because for me, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to read after I run out of videos to watch. But like they
Yeah.
always recommend you the good stuff. So then you keep watching, you're, oh, it's midnight. So I guess I can't read.
Yeah, that's why whenever I read, I have to like cut out the phone. I'll put the phone in a
Yeah,
different
you
room.
just have to, because there's
Yeah, because,
infinite
like,
content to look at.
Even at flipping it upside down, just a little buzz. Oh, let me check what
Yep.
that was. It might be something important. It's not important, but
And then
there's
you're
other
on
stuff
it,
here to
yep,
look
then
at.
you're on it for another
Right.
5,
Like-
10 minutes.
oh, what's this? Next thing you know, it's 2 hours later,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
I just think it really rewards us, not like physically or monetarily, but in our brain it rewards us because we have such a natural instinct for curiosity that we want to kind of figure out what everything is, or even if it's insignificant and we know it's insignificant, right? We're still gonna check our phone and look at what someone texts us. Like for example, at the end of a conversation, and then we say goodnight to each other or something, right? I know that the text that you just sent me says goodnight.
Yeah.
But I need to open it and look at it, and then I'm satisfied that it
Yeah,
says
for sure.
goodnight,
Yeah.
right? I think that's a really interesting concept that people have not, or that people don't really pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think also like we're just so used to so much instant gratification. It's such a stimulating society now,
Yeah.
like that we got so hooked on it that trying to get off of it and make it like a kind of a good balance is super hard just because we were raised on it, you know?
Mhm.
Like we said, it goes into the subconscious, and like you trying to get off of it just is really difficult to ask.
It's
It's a
become a part
Yeah.
of people's lifestyle. You wake up, first thing you do, grab your phone, take it with you to the bathroom while you're doing stuff, brushing your teeth, doing your business on the toilet. You have your phone there using.
That's right.
Some people with the water resistant capabilities now, some people are using it in the
shower.
shower too.
That's
And then before
insane.
you go to bed at night,
Yeah.
look on your phone there first. When you're done with that, that's when you put it.
I used to fall asleep to videos too.
Dude, me too. I still do sometimes. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But for all you people who are doing business on your phones, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of cons to social media, but also on the opposite end, you can find a way to wield that double-edged sword, right? And really turn social media into a machine that runs for you, in terms of marketing or reaching out to your clients or customers. So like if you're on your phone, if you're on social media, because you're trying to generate income for your family or for yourself or whatever that you're trying to do, there is a return rather than just a satisfactory return. I think that's totally awesome. The amount of hours that you would normally put into a 9-to-5 job is, at the fingertips of your home, and you have the comfort of your home to do it in. And I think that's totally cool. I think it's cool that social media enables you to really open up so many avenues of business and marketing.
Yeah.
It really desaturates what everyone was doing before. Of course, social media now is very saturated.
Yeah.
But whenever a new product comes up, it's kind of like osmosis.
Yeah.
But with people are gravitating around one thing, and when something new comes up, they just move, right? And then all of a sudden, you have more opportunity in this area because people have moved,
Yeah.
and you have opportunity to capitalize in social media because people are coming there,
Yeah.
right? And in between, there's area to make money as well.
Yeah.
So I think people who are really taking advantage of that and are able to put themselves out there and utilize social media not only for entertainment but for business, I think that's completely awesome.
And also, it's like you said, it's not that saturated sometimes, but like that makes the market for trying to get their attention super saturated, right? Because everybody's trying to find the key
Right.
to what's going to grab all these people's attention. Because there's, like we just talked about, we're so addicted to these things. If you can hook as many people as you can, you're going to be, like we said, jab, 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 right hook.
Right.
Yeah, like if you look at some of the YouTubers nowadays as well, right?
Yeah.
They were able to start their own market using their followers on YouTube, right? Like you can look at people who've dropped out of high school and they're living in Calabasas in their huge mansions, making tons of money for doing stupid stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And all because they have their social following and they use that social following to their advantage to sell their clothing lines. you
Yeah.
know?
Gary talks a lot about attention is so valuable. It's the second most valuable thing from time, right? And just having people's attention is a long-term asset in the form, like if you have people on your side, you're gonna have so much support when you drop a product or when you want to share somebody else's product, right? Whatever it is,
Yeah,
it's
like-
gonna bring financial
like
gain
how-
to you as well.
Right.
in the other book, I forgot which book it was, but he talked about law of the buy-in. Which one was that book?
That's John Maxwell, right?
Maxwell,
Law.
yeah.
It's a
It's
the
law.
first book,
Yeah.
guys. If you guys
And
don't know
then-
what we're talking about, check out John C. Maxwell. Okay,
21 irrefutable
21 irrefutable laws. That's right.
Yeah, one of the laws he talks about is law of the buy-in, whereas people don't buy into the product that you're selling. They buy into you as a person, right?
Most
So, like,
definitely.
With the people on YouTube and their followers buying their products, they're not buying the products because they just purely liking the products. You know, some people might, but then mostly they buy it because they are a fan of the person who's
Yeah,
selling
exactly.
it.
For sure.
So I think this is a good place to end our discussion. We went over a lot of pros and cons. If there was anything that we missed, whether it was pro or con, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you guys like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe when you have a chance.
And also, if you guys have any other books that you might want to suggest for us to read in one of our future videos, just go ahead and drop that in the comment section as
we'll
well
see if we
too.
can get to that one. But till then, let's go out and get this bread. Outro music.